Jim, welcome to today's live stream. I'm Carpenter of Web3, coming from the Fantasy Top main X account. I'm here with Caleb, founding team member of the biggest app on base right now, all over the timeline, football.fun. Caleb, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's obviously been a pretty crazy few weeks, but hey, man, that's what you sign up for. If you want to work in Web3, you kind of have to know and kind of enjoy it and thrive when it kind of gets this craziness. So yeah, man, been insane few weeks, having a lot of fun, and yeah, excited to be here today.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm super excited to have you. I know that, like we'll kind of get into like the sponsored tournament a little bit later, but we were kind of talking in the green room before the show about how well, let's rewind even more. I better I was about ready to take off right where we left off in the green room, but first, just kind of how I like to start these. A little bit about yourself and how you got into Web3.
Yeah, so I used to work in marketing in the Web2 world at an agency. Used to do the marketing for Electronic Arts. So worked on the likes of FIFA, NHL, Battlefield, Sims, everything like that. Done that for around 3 years, and then got into crypto through my brother. He basically just got me into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then went into down the NFT rabbit hole. And yeah, here I am. And it looks like the co-host has. Are you there?
My camera, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. My Discord tries to steal my camera. I don't know why it did that. Of course, it does it today of all days. Let me switch my camera here real quick. It'll fix it.
I'm good.
Oh, wait, there we go. Just worked. I'm sorry for this. There we go.
It's loading. Is he back? $1 million question.
Come on. The perks of doing it live. I swear, like every time. There we go.
There you go. There you
All right,
go.
there we go. See, that's really cool. Like especially being in like Web2. So see, a lot of times in the crypto space, you see kind of like a divide of people that half of them had like what they do in Web3, they did in Web2, and the other half they don't, right? They like found a new calling. So is it something that you always knew you wanted to do? Kind of like the marketing and
Yeah, I knew I wanted to go into business. I always wanted to get into like entrepreneurship and startups and everything like that. I started obviously in traditional media and in Web2. It was a lot of fun. I love sports, so I was able to working on FIFA was like a dream as a kid because like I played so much FIFA and I loved football, so it was like a dream role. But it was like obviously on a very big scale where you don't have as much impact on a business when it's that big. Like you work tens of millions of budget, and like you can't actually say like, oh, okay, like I was the person who drove this forward for a conglomerate like that. And then I was just like getting to the stage where I was like, okay, had a lot of experience here. It's been a lot of fun, but I kind of want to move on. And at that point, I'd been in Web3 for around like 2 years. Primarily just being a trader, went through the bear markets, tried to network a lot with founders. Primarily started a little bit in the Web3 gaming sector. Done like podcasts online and just kind of like enjoyed the environment and enjoyed the fact that I was always like one person away from like amazing founders that I could learn from for the future. And then yeah, just kind of started to left my job in Web2 to come into Web3 in the middle of the bear markets. Had nothing lined up, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna risk it and hope it works out. If not, then I'll go find something after. So I end up doing some contract work. Went to a company called Portal. So helped them for the go-to-market on that side. Was there for around 11 months, and that's where I met Adam, who's the founder of Football Fun, because he had sold his payments company to Portal. And then when I left there, he called me up. He was like, I've got this idea. It's a football fantasy platform. And I was like, oh yeah, sign me up. Like I want to stay in the sports world because it's like one of my biggest passions. And then yeah, that's kind of what kind of got us to where we are now.
that is awesome. That is super cool. Like I always love hearing the origin stories, and that's a perfect segue into why we're here is the football.fun, and we were kind of talking about in the green room is I have never I'm a big like American football fan, and then it wasn't until like I heard about football.fun early enough, and just kind of faded it like a goofball, and then I was like I better actually get in, especially because like I was telling you, and a lot of the fantasy top community knows I'm really close, and like Web3 bestie is HK, huge. You've talked to him, huge, I guess you guys call them footballers or whatever, like someone who like is into football or whatever. But he's like, dude, you've got to get into it. So I did. And actually, it's like crazy, especially the way you guys have it set up. It's like almost, it's just addicting, even if you don't know it, right? Kind of how you were saying.
Yeah,
Which is
we
really
really
cool.
wanted to build it out in a way that like even in the test, like the during like the beta testing and everything like that, we kind of had a world of like we had like really hardcore users who are like traditional FPL players, played so rare, played very similar products to make sure we got good feedback from like the core audience. But within that, we also had like just friends that wanted to like help us out, try it out, whether they were football fans or not. And instantly we saw them get like super interested in it, like start to like follow a certain team. They just like they start to get addicted to like the pack openings, and like the pack openings specifically, like it's just like it's a fundamental thing that like every game loop is like loved by. Like I mean, FIFA, you look at Pokemon, everything like that. It's one of the most addictive loops specifically, and we just saw a lot of like people who weren't necessarily hardcore football fans begin to like it, and then we're like, okay, like that must mean something. Obviously, our core user group and that we push for is people who are football fans. But even now, like you said on the timeline, there's a lot of Americans that are like, oh, there's not the NFL version yet. I guess I'll try this one for now. And like when NFL comes out, that'll be great. But yeah, it's been very fascinating to see like the different level of like fanship kind of go into the type of users that we're getting.
Absolutely. And I feel like you guys launched, and again, this is something I learned from HK, which again, ideally he would have been able to be here with us. But he's still a couple more weeks of his IRL work before he jumps completely into Web3. Was I guess it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't like next year, or it's like the big tournament World Cup or whatever. And
Yeah,
so like
gonna
it's the
be gonna be
season just
hosted in
started. Yeah.
your home. It's gonna be out there in America.
Let's go.
Season just started, and World Cup is next year. So yeah, the timing's pretty good.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then like it's the biggest sport, which a lot of us Americans don't like to admit it, which it is. If so, like soccer, football is the biggest sport in the world, and it's really the fact that you've got like even I was telling you in the green room, my wife came in, see me looking up, what we call soccer stuff, and she goes, "Are you sick?" And I was like, "No," like, and I explained it to her. Now we're both onboarded, right? And it's kind of fun. Like HK had to teach me like the positions, the players. Like we were on like a 2-hour call, and like even today again we were on calls again. And it's a lot of fun. And kind of how did the like so you were there kind of from the beginning, right, with Adam, and just you would kind of tell me about the building process from the early days.
Yeah, of course. So kind of started in October last year, and it was self-funded for the first to basically MVP. So self-funded by Adam and friends and family to basically get it to MVP by February. So we kind of wanted to go a little bit of a different approach to what we traditionally see in Web3, and we didn't want to come ever to the public until there was a product ready. So instead of going and raising and everything like this, or like doing an NFT sale or anything like this, we wanted to be like, okay, we were the first time we ever seen by the public, they can go and try the platform. Whether it's in like the perfect state yet or not, no, it was like still very early, still a lot of testing to be done. But yeah, we came to market with the test, with the MVP in February. We then went on there, saw really good numbers from a retention perspective, started to expand that test group. We got to around, by the end of July, we got to around 2,500 users. And within that period, 50% retention. So we saw those pretty good numbers there. And we're very confident with it. We also done a raise in April, which Sixth Man Ventures led. And that kind of put us lined up to kind of come to market with Pro, because we were basically playtesting with the free version, and we knew that like the football season started in August, so we had to meet the deadline of like we have to launch in August. There's no delays. Like we can't delay, because like it is so pivotal for a product like this to launch with the season. So the dev team is insane in terms of being able to meet those deadlines. And then, yeah, basically just kind of iterated on the product until now. And then basically also saved a lot of our marketing resources for the go-to-market for the Pro version, because we kind of realized early on that like you can capture the people who are natural football fans from like word of mouth to get the play testing. But if you really want to go market to Web3, you have to have something like what the product that they want. And they want the Pro version. They want the version that they can go get involved with, have an edge, and everything like that. So yeah, and then it led to us launching, I think, like 17 days ago now.
It's crazy. It's only been 17 days, especially with like it's still everywhere on the timeline. But when it first hit the timeline, which was I think right before last weekend, because you'd only been live not even a week, or maybe just over a week, and it was everywhere. I mean, I couldn't. That's all like you could see was
Yeah.
football.fun. What was that like? Just like, that feeling and when you seen it kind of just take off.
Yeah, we came to market with the goal being to snowball it, and like we had specific mechanics that we knew that CT would love. That was like the player launches, the opportunity for good multiples, like PvPing, like the real like liquid, fast moving excitement that people in Web3 love. So we came to market very much like the goal was to achieve a like domination of the timeline, but you never know how that's going to go, right? It's a very hard thing to achieve. It's very hard to capture that. And it took obviously like it didn't take super long, but like it kind of just like incremented each day. It was like perfect definition of a snowball where like each day we started to get more interest from different people on the timeline. And then last weekend, it just all just like within 48 hours, it just went ballistic. And that was incredible. But also like with the good comes the bad. So we obviously had a botting attack on the website on the Sunday. So that like slowed the momentum down a little bit. But I mean, fundamentally, it got us so much amazing awareness and momentum, both from like just a brand perspective, a user perspective, a volume perspective, but also from like a validation perspective. Like the people who we have got a lot of validation from people in the space that are, I would say, is like high signal in terms of saying like this is something that could actually be bigger than just like the CT bubble. This could be another consumer app that can be scaled to a larger audience specifically. So yeah, I mean, we could not complain around kind of what ended up happening. It was amazing. It's gotten us into an amazing position. But again, like we're 3 weeks in, we've got so much we have to do in order to kind of continue to scale and make it a fun ecosystem.
Absolutely. And that's something like, and this is, well, before we tie the two projects in together, I want to ask, when did you first like hear about or see Fantasy Top?
Fantasy Top was Blast. I was there. I was like a part of the whole Blast fun of like the goal and everything like that. So I participated in there. So I participated pretty early in the Fantasy Top ecosystem, like the first few weeks when it first came out. Really enjoyed it. It was like it was one of those apps that you think like, okay, like this is like genuinely actually fun. And like obviously there's a great network effect within it as well. It's just like when you speaking to friends and like my friends that were creators and everything like that. So yeah, kind of was familiar with it in Blast. And then yeah, I've kind of been keeping an eye on it ever since. And then obviously you guys moved to Base recently. And then when I saw that move, I was like, damn, yeah, that's a nice move from an optics perspective, but also from like a scaling perspective. I think it's like made you guys really seem like one of the best apps kind of come into Base. So yeah, kind of been watching and participating throughout the journey since like the early days of Blast.
That's what I love to hear it. Because one thing, like the more we talk, and I've kind of like known it even before just kind of seeing the process, is you not only is it both projects fantasy related, but you're both kind of like getting a product out that's workable and then kind of working out the kinks as you go, right? Like building in public, which is really I feel like the best way to do it. And both Fantasy Top and Football.fun did that. And I mean, I think anyone in the Fantasy Top community is super excited about, you guys kind of linking together, doing this partnership and getting the, well, here, I'm trying to jump too far forward. There's a few things I want to hit beforehand. Speaking of Base and how, Fantasy Top moved to Base, what made you guys want to build on Base rather than anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options, right? There's a lot of chains that are great, amazing teams, and like good infra. I think for us, it was like the product we were building because like we fundamentally the back end of it is like a Uniswap clone, but with a lot of new tech built around it. Nothing had kind of been built like it before. That we kind of needed to go to somewhere that was super established and had been like we knew that like fundamentally the tech was in a very good place. So like all the variables would be more on our side than on the chain side. And Base also just is one of the major consumer facing chains, right? The ease of onboarding, even out the Base app, like there's hopefully going to be even more future opportunities for distribution through their ecosystem. it was just like we just thought it was like the best route for like the first of our platforms to build there. And yeah, it's been great so far. I'd love to understand from you guys as well. Spoke to obviously Mikado a little bit earlier. But on the base side of things, do you know why the base was the choice? Because I mean, now there's a lot of different layer twos out there, new chains. Like there's a lot of options when it comes to chains.
Yeah. So myself, I'm probably not the best to answer that. I'm just a content lead. But I know for one, I'm super excited we went to base. But yeah, again, it's probably not my expertise. I'm not like into that's the Travis Mikado and Kippet area in 710. But yeah, it's definitely a move that I feel like made perfect sense. And it also brings there's not only is it a great like ecosystem that I really like Jesse, super cool guy, super energetic, but also like the other builders like yourselves, there's so many like just great teams building on base. So it's really cool. And then yeah, sorry I couldn't answer that a little better, but yeah. And then oh sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say no. That's totally understandable. I'll keep that one for Travis and Mikado next time I chat to them.
There we go. Perfect. So I wanted to ask, which we might have touched on it, but what's been your biggest surprise since launching, good or bad?
Biggest surprise. I think it's just honestly the like you never know how it's gonna. From my perspective, obviously, I think everyone in the team's perspective has been very different. And the biggest surprise, but I think it's definitely been the validation. I think we knew that like we had a good product, but like getting it truly validated by a lot of amazing thinkers and people that we highly respect in this industry was something special. So it gives like all of us a lot of confidence, but also a lot of excitement for what we're doing. So yeah, that's probably been like the most exciting part of it all. And like probably at least from my side on the marketing side, a nice thing to see specifically, given like yeah, we went in pretty like for like a pretty like cold launch in terms of we didn't do much before going into the market. So like it was a very much of a thing of like yeah, kind of we go in with our confidence and hope it plays out how we expect it to. But it was nice to see the reception from not just like the high signal thingers, but like also just like the whole of CT. Like although we had like there's been elements of like FUD and stuff like that, I think overall we definitely have had like a very warm reception from everyone and like a lot of like confidence and people believing in us. So I think that's been probably one of the nicest and most special parts.
Absolutely. And there's one thing I seen like you guys that I really like applaud you guys on is how quick. Yeah, you said about the you had the botting incident, which is like you said, it kind of comes with the territory, especially when you get a good amount of hype. And generally, I feel like it's kind of like a badge of honor knowing that if the people are trying to bot you, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
But you guys are a pretty lean team, right? And you guys moved quick, very quick, to kind of nip that in the butt.
Yeah, we're like the total team size is 15 of us, primarily on the dev side. But yeah, I mean, I can only give praise to the dev team, like in terms of like the speed of like we've had the bot attacks. There's also been some other like similar approaches from other people, and they've been all week have just been tackling all of this stuff, all while still like implementing changes and like pushing the product forward. Like I think that's been one of the craziest things is just seeing, yeah, the dev team. I can only speak very highly of them in terms of what they've when we do have issues, how quickly we're able to tackle them. And I think that's also been very well received by the community, although like very frustrating when those things happen. I mean, we're still, like I say, like 3 weeks of this platform being live. So it's like there's going to be some kinks in the road. But yeah, they've absolutely killed it in terms of how quickly they've able to tackle a lot of these fires.
Absolutely. And yeah, I don't understand how devs do it, man. It's crazy, especially like even looking at like vibe coding and then like you can click the side and see what it's actually doing, like typing. It's crazy to think that like devs actually do that, right? Like
They understand that language.
yeah. It's like I'm like, oh man, I like it really puts it into perspective. Yeah, all praise to the devs, man. They're on both teams. It's crazy. And so one thing that fascinated me about because when I first heard about football.fun, I kind of looked, went in there, and it kind of assumed it would be um, like NFTs, but you guys went more of the like share route. Share route. Uh, Kind of what's the thought process on that, and then how do you feel like it's going?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we went specifically for that. So there's been like the NBA Top Shots and everything like that went down the NFT route. I think last cycle, and I think it depends on the economy. I think we were speaking to Mikado, and it's like even Adam was saying, like for yoga, for fantasy top, perfect sense. Like it that is a perfect fit. But for our side, for football specifically, the issue that some other economies have had is for like fantasy football in Web3 is the fact that if you use NFTs, one, there's like lack of liquidity. So like if someone gets injured, it's really hard to move on those cards and like really have a liquid market to be able to like trade depending on what's going on in real life. The other side is it becomes a thing of distribution of like when you try scale the economy to a certain size, football fans always want to own the players they love, right? I want to own an Mbappe, a Yamal, like the players that I truly think are like amazing. The issue with NFTs is they end up just getting outpriced at that point. So like in some ecosystems, Mbappe NFT would be like $2,000. The average football fan can't afford that. The average football fan like goes to the basically the games every weekend. They might have like $50 a month that they want to like play around with, and they want to own the players that they love, and they want to have the same experience, right? Because they don't want to go own like a fifth league football player. Like they don't know. Like the whole enjoyment of fantasy is owning the players that you truly love. So having it basically shares and tokenized just allows the opportunity for anyone to come in and own the players they love, irrespective of the size of money that they're playing with, and just allows for a better way for like user acquisition. So we can scale to more numbers being tokenized because like no matter what, you'll always be able to own even a fraction of a share of the players that you love. So that was one of like the key things reasons we went down it. And obviously liquidity. I think that we've seen in the market that a lot of people like tokenized experiences because they are just more liquid. The same way you see Pump Fund done very well, and like fun on chain and tokenized seems to be a huge favorite in terms of just being able to the volatility and the ease of move in and out was a big part of it. So yeah, those are the main reasons why we went down the token route. And I mean, so far, it's like played out very well in our opinion. And like we're still very much stuck to that thesis in terms of it being like for what we're trying to build, the right move specifically.
Yeah, and I feel like that was when I was like my wife had came in and was like, "Oh, why are you doing this? You know, are you sick?" I was showing her, and she goes, "Oh, so it's like fantasy top." I was like, "It is, but it's not cards like you're used to. I'm like, it's shares, so you can get in." And then so she just wanted to. She's like, "Well, I want to try it," and so I put her in for like we put a couple $100 in, and it was nice instead of her just buying like one card or like one player and putting or two players, putting a couple hundred or 100 on each one. She was able to kind of look, and she did the same thing you kind of told me in the green room, is doing the Chat GPT thing, because I couldn't help her much. I didn't know much about players, and I think she ended up with a better starting team than I did before I started picking HK's brain. But yeah, she used Chat GPT on her phone, kind of picks the players and like just split it down the middle and did like 50 on like 4 players or something like that. Or I think we did like 250, so I think she did 50 on 5 players. And I think she's gonna do pretty well. I think HK thinks she's gonna do well too. So she probably will, and I'll just never hear the end of it. Just like when she beat
Missy. If you lose the first weekend, I think like you're never gonna hear the end of that one. You may as well just give her the access to your account to control it.
Yep. Oh yeah, yep, absolutely. And so with that, how does the shares how does like inflation work with the players? Like, will there be more shares each week, or kind of how does that go?
Yeah, so the main mechanism for new shares to come into the market is through the packs and the rewards. So the only time the main time when new shares enter the market is when at the end of tournaments, when you get TP and SP. So tournament points get you the packs, skill points allow you to promote players from your development squad into your main squad. The way that's controlled is very much like Adam and Felix spend a lot of time basically determining what that tournament rewards are going to be like based on the inflows of the economy. So it's very much based on the overall look at like how healthy is the economy right now, how are the inflows looking, everything like that. That will always determine what the basically the increase in basically new shares come into the market. That way, it's always kind of calculated in a way that it's not going to be loads of shares coming into a market that's really like struggling right now, or like very few shares coming into a market that's booming. So it's very much done on like calculations based on the health of the economy. There's no exact like formula right now in terms of saying like every single like week it's going to be a percentage of this, that. But you can get a pretty good gauge based on just like looking at even like doing analytics and understanding, okay, like what is everything looking like from like a user perspective, inflows and everything like that. So that is the main mechanism, is through the prize pools. And that's very much based on how the whole economy is looking at that moment, and also like I said, the inflows, because 95% of all inflows go back to the players, so that really determines what the prize pool looks like.
Yeah, that really that's a really high percentage, especially when you think about the rake that like a DraftKings or something like that takes. So, and is that kind of the goal, is to kind of take on or like the grander vision is to kind of be the competitor to, or like the Web3 version or competitor to like a DraftKings, a FanDuel, Bet365 and so on?
Yeah, less on the betting side specifically. We try very much focusing on the platforms being skill based, but we want to be the biggest fantasy company in the world. So that's for all sports, and that obviously it ties into the allowing for the speculation side of things with the Web3 side of ones, but focused on the skill based arenas. But yeah, the goal is very much not just to be the biggest in Web3. Picking a genre like sports, it'd be silly of us to kind of silo ourselves into Web3 specifically when there's 3.5 billion fans of football players out there. So yeah, the goal is very much to take all of those on, and hopefully one day be the biggest in the world.
Yeah, that is super cool. I think that's one of the things. Once I was actually started like look into it more, I think it was a post from, I can't remember if it was you or Adam. Someone said, or in a reply even, about that, and that really got my wheels turning. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely needing to invest a little bit more. I think I did put more in right after that, but just because like that's a big thing too, is like I always preach, instead of investing in a project, invest into it like teams, right? Into people. So that's why I always like to look at, that's why I fell in love with fantasy in the early days, is the twins and Travis, and then eventually 710. They're just, honestly, I still don't think they sleep, which I'm sure you guys aren't getting much sleep either, but
Seems to be a correlation with anyone in Web3 and lack of sleep. I think at that point, it's what you sign up for.
Absolutely, especially the ones you guys building, because I know, like us DGens, we get well, me, I'm a weird one. I'm old for Web3, right? So I make sure I get my sleep, but I also go to bed really early, but wake up early too. But generally, like a lot of people don't get a lot of sleep, but I feel like founders have to like just take naps. They don't really go to bed; they just take naps.
Yeah, it's just the permanent naps signal or rhythm of life is. I think that is true. I think that's definitely been true for Adam for a little while now. But hopefully he can catch up on that sometime soon.
Absolutely. And so we'll I want to jump into like the connection between the two. And then towards the end, I want you to get some advice from you. So don't let me forget about some players, from a person who doesn't know anything really about European football or football in general. It's so weird saying that. But I know the like Wessa, one of the community mods, would really stick it to me if I kept calling it soccer on here.
But I think that a lot of people would. So that's been one of the funnest part. Getting Americans to call it football has definitely been one of like the most satisfying parts of this whole thing.
Yeah, it is so weird. And like, yeah, because that's one thing I keep seeing on the comments too, is like, I can't believe I'm calling it football, right?
Yeah.
some big accounts calling it. I still don't know if I've seen. I think ICOB says probably on accident called it football, but he's pretty stern on calling it soccer. I know he's even went to Farouk and stuff and be like, I think you mean soccer, not football.
Yeah. New objective has been met. I've got to get ICOBs or ICOBs to call it football.
Yeah, that's the final boss of the final soccer boss. But so with one thing I'm super excited about, and the one thing I'm most excited about with this partnership between fantasy and football.fun is this sponsored tournament, as well as there's two different sides to it, right? So there's the people that can be rewarded based on their placing within the Fantasy Top tournament, as well as the Clout Mindshare leaderboard. Do you want to kind of tap into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So obviously we're partnering up because we see like the crossover in communities started very organically. HK being one. There's been a bunch of others I'm speaking to basically on the daily right now, and they're all very much OGs from in the Fantasy Top ecosystem. Yeah, obviously there's the Clout one, which is very much focused on those speaking specifically around the around football or fun. And the prize pools are pretty simple. We have like per both tournaments within the Fantasy Top ecosystem, we have packs and we have rep. So packs obviously allow you to kind of go open, enjoy the pack opening experience, get some players. Can't promote those players without skill points, but get you in the ecosystem. And then when you participate, hopefully in this week's tournament, you'll be able to kind of realize those players into your squad. And then on the rep point side of things, that is what is going to get you access to the future launches. So we've got 90 players on the platform. We've got the next 10 next week. And then we've still got another 100 to go after that to get to the first 200. And that has definitely been, I think the community can definitely say that like that's some of the funnest moments when launching those new players. Is like, it honestly is like 2021 NFT bull run vibes. The chat is flying, everyone's PvPing, everyone said that they got it, they didn't get it. So yeah, that's kind of how it's structured at the moment. Super interested to see kind of who participates. We have, I think Verted is like number one on the Clout one, because he's been like an early advocate for Football.Fun and kind of also growing with it. But I'm excited to see kind of who else gets involved from the Fantasy Top ecosystem on that front.
So I just had a weird thing, and it has to go back to ICO Beast. But so on part of the Clout leaderboard, and I don't think a lot of people know this, is you teams who have the Clout leaderboard have admin access. You guys could play around with. Actually, you probably know it better than I would, but like you guys, what does the admin access kind of give you?
Yes, I've actually been looking into it a little bit. I wouldn't be able to go into too much detail on that side, if I'm honest. I kind of went through the Loom. I haven't gone into the admin yet as of going into it this weekend. So it'll be one that I'll be able to kind of do retrospectively. But excited to kind of play around on that side of things specifically.
Yeah, because I know one thing you can like weight different keywords, right? And like exclude keywords. And so I was kind of thinking you like negative, you could negative.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you know exactly. You know what I'm doing. Yeah, you know what I'm doing. Like, that is going to be the first thing I do in that admin dashboard. Soccer will be negatively weighted.
You hear that, ISO? So you start calling it football.
The warning has been put out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm glad your mind was there too. That's the first thing I thought when I was like, yeah, they can mess with not mess with it, but you get to pick like, kind of fine tune that to make sure people aren't like just throwing slop out.
Yeah, I think that is one of the cooler parts of the Clout side of things is that refinement. Like it's like I'm a fan of Infofy and like that side of things, which I think this pretty much falls under. But I am not a fan of like the AI slop side of things. So like even when we came to market, we were very like we were on the edge of like going with like an Infofy partner to come to market with for the product. We didn't end up doing it. I do like it, but I just don't like it. Like if the whole timeline's flooded with your product because of Infofy, it doesn't have the same impact of like people speaking about it because like they really enjoy it. And that's why I like the opportunity to refine it to like certain keywords and like really refining it to like people who actually are talking about the product for like advice, alpha, their picks for the week, stuff like that. I think that is where we need to see it start to move forward to, and I think we do with a lot of them. But I think the way that like Fantasy Top have done it is gamified in a very refreshing way. So excited to play around more with the keywords side of things and mess with a few people maybe as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it as well. I'm definitely gonna keep a close eye on that. The Football.Fun leaderboard. I have a feeling it's gonna be fun. I have some predictions.
Yeah, I know Serpent's on there, and he also said like he was pissed because it was like not American football and real football. So like, and I shocked he's on the list. I'm like, okay, and that's fine. If you want the American football and not this one, then we'll make a change.
Yeah, I know he has been a pretty big. I know we were talking in the green room again. We had some good conversation back there. Should have just went live right away. kind of how there's some like Cyrus and like MLO, there's some really good like prominent figures, talking and really saying, hey, you need to be, um, you know, get some sort of exposure to um, football.fun. And then Serp is one of those that MLO kind of said, and I watch a lot of his live streams. He was
Yeah.
on with, I can't remember who it is. This is also a fantasy top hero. Um, and he
Oh,
was
was it
asking him,
yesterday? I saw
yeah,
that. I saw the clip from it. Yes, I
yep,
forgot who it's with though as well. Yeah, I saw that clip.
yep, yep. And you can tell he's a punk. He's like a hoodie punk. I just can't think of his name. But yeah, because definitely, I think Serpa, even though he is kind of giving you guys a rough time for not having American football, he's definitely a big advocate of the ecosystem.
Yes.
I have a feeling if we found his like wallet, we'd find out he's invested probably pretty heavily. Um, but yeah, it's really cool to see um, like just the people who wouldn't normally participate in football that actually are right,
Yeah.
myself included. Serp, I'm sure
Yeah.
ICOBC is invested by now.
But I think it's that whole thing, like Web3 is a weird place, right? Like you see, like obviously, like when it comes to sports, I think people have a little bit of strong opinions at the start. But like, I mean, when DeSci came out, like decentralized science, nobody's an expert in that, but everyone became one. Like same as
Yeah.
AI. Like, don't get me wrong, in AI, there was people who were more clued up than others. There were researchers, like there were experts, but a lot of people just learn on the spot. And
Mhm.
like there was an opportunity to participate in something fun on chain around a certain vertical, and people learn it. Like people want to have fun on chain. And if like, I mean, football is a very easy thing. Like it's a lot easier to come up to speed with how good something is than like decentralized science for like the average user in Web3. So if it's exciting enough, I think like Web3 users naturally will overcome that like barrier in terms of like, even if they don't follow it, like you say, ChatGPT, or most people will have a friend that is into it. Like 3.5 billion fans around the world, like 1 in 3 people, you'll know someone. They'll be able to, like, you have HK giving you your advice, and like we'll probably see more of that network effect happen in terms of people coming in and participating.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's just super it's just crazy to see the growth. And soccer is year long, right? Like it's pretty much just goes. Does it really have like an off season again? Because I don't know much about
Yeah,
football,
so no,
soccer.
normally there is an off season, so like between end of May to middle of August is normally the off
Oh, so
season.
it's short,
Yeah, so
short off
it's
season.
like 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. But then obviously next year we have the Club World Cup. Not the Club World Cup. We just had the Club World Cup, the World Cup. So that's like the international, basically the biggest international tournament, which will be in America. So there'll be even shorter of a break there. But within the break anyway, it's like the transfer window. So like a lot of people are like, oh, what's going to happen when it's the off season? And like I personally, as a football fan, like I am just, if not more glued to like news of football when it's like the transfer window, because like even like now, so like the transfer window isn't fully closed. It closes in a few days' time, even though the season started. And there's like 3 or 4 transfers right now that are like kind of in the middle of like, will they go through? Won't they? And there's some trades even on the market. So like for those that do know football, there's a guy called Isak. He plays for Newcastle. But he's basically been on riot and not been playing for them because he wants to move to a club called Liverpool. And if the move goes through, the anticipation is that like he'll do very well on the platform. But if the move doesn't go through, then it's the anticipation he won't do very well. So like now we have people like hedging their bets of like around a transfer rumor, and yeah, how that will play out for the platform. So yeah, there's like, it's football never ends. Obviously, there's the off season, but within that off season, there's just a meta game in itself.
Yeah, because that's what one thing HK and I were talking about is about the NFL. Like when it comes, um, is he brought up a good point. Is we do have a long off season, right? We have the draft that happens, and then there's trading, but trading also happens like right now. The Adam Thielen is going back to the Vikings, which is my team, and it's happening now. So like it's like drafts are happening and stuff like that. And like, does soccer have or European football have drafts, or how do you guys get your players?
Yeah, no, so it's just so ours is just transfers. So it's like clubs will be negotiating on like moves, whether it's like young talent from like the smaller leagues, they're basically transferring or like buying a player from a different club that like because like there's the way it kind of works is like there's a lot of like feeder clubs, and the feeder
Oh,
clubs are like
okay.
smaller clubs in like smaller leagues that tend to find like really young good talents where they can kind of really kind of foster, become better, and then like they'll get a big move to like the big leagues. Um, and that's kind of what the transfer market is. So ours is all just
Okay.
transfer market. And within that, it's between basically between clubs, players, leagues, everything like that. And that the two windows for that are like off season, so like end of May or early June to August. And then we have a winter one as well in like January. So like those are the two kind of moments that we have like that the draft-esque kind of opportunity within the market.
Someone said academy player. What's an academy player?
Yes, an academy player is like someone who comes from within the club itself. So like all the big clubs have like an under 18s, under 21s, under 16s. You often see like some players get scouted very young, start when they're like under 12s, and then stay at that club until they're like 30. So those are what like kind of the academy players, and like any player that comes to that, the fan base is like even more behind because like they're grassroots sort of thing, and they come from the hometown.
That is
Which
crazy.
is also pretty cool.
I mean, that is nuts to think about. Like the lore behind. I realize why it's like the biggest world sport now. Because like for us, for football, American football, or as Bandit calls it, hand egg. He I don't know why that always sticks with me. He had like a meme and everything that went with it. Oh god, I love that guy. But anyways, it so we have like like we can start in like pee-wees. Like if my daughter, like her around her age, my 11-year-old, she can like boys in her age are playing football, and then you go to high school and then college. But so for soccer or European football, it's just like a club that you can just go with from like age 12 all the way up.
If you're scouted, it all just
Oh,
depends on. So, like, if you don't get a pick, it's like obviously with it being such a competitive sport, it's like hyper competitive to get into these clubs at a young age. So normally they'll be from like a surrounding area, surrounding club. They'll get scouted at a young age. A lot of people filter out at a lot of people fall out because they don't end up being good enough as they get older. And then you get those like 3 or 4 that actually make it from the academy to the first team. But if you look at the numbers, like the odds of it are like incredibly hard, given so many people are like fighting for them spots, which is I'm sure is very similar to like the American football system and college system. Very hyper competitive to be able to get into that, like the NFL specifically.
yeah, that's crazy. And it, like some seats where I feel like then some more fantasy top and or football.fun lore that I think maybe some people missed, that I don't know why I remember it. But I seen Star Platinum, who is a fantasy top hero and big component of both ecosystems, is he used to be, and I don't know what this means. What's like AC Milan? What's that
AC
mean?
Milan's a big club in Italy.
Okay, because he was like a captain or
Oh
something.
damn!
Yeah.
No, I
So
mean AC Milan is one of the big European clubs. Like they are, yeah, they're definitely they're one of the biggest Italian clubs with the most history. They've had some of like the greatest players in the world play for them back in the day. And they're still very good as a club. So damn, that's some great lore between the two.
yeah. I seen it. Like he had a picture of himself and everything. That was a little like captain thing on it. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to remember that for the live stream.
Yeah, that is insane. Even there's quite a few people that have come out in like on CT now saying like they used to play like pro or semi-pro when they're younger. And it's always so interesting. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to see.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I think now my wife and I both talked, we're gonna have our like because we have like soccer, European football. I keep like my brain is split, like which I should say. Like it's horrible. Like the ICO part of me is like, say soccer. Um, and then
It's like a
HK is
devil and an
like,
angel on your
yep,
shoulder.
yep. I don't know which is which yet though. HK is one and then ICO is the other. I'll just say they're both nice for now. I like them both. But yeah, it's but no, we're gonna let Axton, my 2-year-old, he's already that's where I like that picture for the thing. Only soccer ball we had was that little tiny one, and he's always kicking it around. And so we're like, generally we try to like we're gonna have him play American football, but we're like, yeah, we'll let him kick the ball around. We'll let him try that because it's clearly, I mean, I'll clearly know the game more because like I coach my kids coming up. Like I do t-ball with my girls and now
Oh,
softball.
nice.
But then when the
Yeah.
boys start, I'll do that. So I want to learn soccer.
Yeah.
Remember not to touch
I
it with
mean,
my hands.
yeah. I mean, it's growing. It's growing in America, it feels. I don't think I'd probably ever take the others, but yeah, it seems to Americans seem to be becoming a little bit more fond of it.
Yeah, it's and especially with um like I feel like it's like the perfect time for you guys to launch too. Like with like you said, the World Cup next year, the season just starting, and like European football and as a whole is growing worldwide more than it already has. Which,
Yeah, and I mean, World Cup seasons are like insane. Like, cause like there's like obviously it's 3.5 billion fans around the world, but like there's like it kind of like shrinks depending on when you're looking. Like, and during the World Cup, it's probably like the largest pool of football fans because there's a lot of people who don't support a club, but when the international team plays, they fall in love with it, and it's very patriotic, and everyone kind of gets behind their nation and everything like that. So it's a huge year for us. And it's gonna be a lot of fun for football.fun during that period.
heck yeah. And um so I know I kind of forgot to ask this because I just thought it came up now. So we talked a little bit about the inflation and stuff. So is there like a tied number? Like so when you're opening packs, is there like a number tied to, or how is it like decided whether like Kane, and I'm just thinking because that's a player I have, Kane or the Yamal, I don't know, that's about all I know. Like
Yeah. No,
then compared to someone else. Yeah,
in
like
terms of
how
the odds of
often?
getting them in a pack, they're all equal odds. So it's like they're
Oh,
all
okay.
randomized, and like you got the same odds. So like if you get a great pack, you're just incredibly lucky to get like a Kane, Yamal, and Mbappe. If you get them three in a pack, you've basically hit gold. Because they're like the most expensive on the platform. But yeah, it's randomized, completely randomized. And obviously, if you get lucky, you'll get with four amazing ones. I've had pretty bad pack luck up until now. I think I've hit like one or two good packs. But considering how many I've ripped, it's definitely not the odds I've been looking for.
Yeah.
But it never gets old. I just want to rip the next one and the next one and the next one until I do get that good day, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, all completely randomized.
that is awesome. I see HK made a comment here. He goes, Isak to Liverpool. Here we go. Is that what you were saying earlier? That Isak to
Yeah, so if that's like the one probably the most interesting current trade on the platform, like outside of just like traditional, like okay, who's gonna perform the best? Yeah, he's the one that's like in between potentially going to Liverpool, who won the Premier League last season. So if he goes there, people are like expect him to do well. But yeah, it's probably the coolest first example of like how exciting the market can be when there's transfer rumors because like if like a player's going to the next big club, like it really can make such a difference in terms of like how good they're going to be on the platform. So yeah, I don't know. HK seems like he wants to see him at Liverpool. So let's see.
yeah. I think he probably bought a few shares of. He was on the list of that he sent me to buy. So I don't. I think my wife bought him. I don't think I did.
Oh, then she's going to be out trading you soon enough.
Yes, she is. I'll only admit this here, but my wife actually out traded me regularly in TradFi back in the day. So she's a good trader when she locks in.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good. Both of you being good traders, not too bad.
Yeah, yeah. That's just yeah. I always joke with her like that's why I didn't really bring you into Fantasy Top and stuff because I can't have you like outperforming me in
Yeah,
trading. Yeah,
that's your arena to dominate.
yeah,
You don't need to get beaten.
yeah. Absolutely. Speaking of pit stuff, who are like who would you say your favorite heroes are?
Fantasy. Oh, um, that's tough.
I didn't mean to throw you on the spot.
Yeah,
I just figured you'd say
don't.
ICO Beast. I don't know actually with the soccer thing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, ISO Beast. I mean, ISO Beast has to be up there for me because he done me very well during the AI run. I'm very thankful to him and all the alpha that he shared very
Yeah.
early on. Vo's always an interesting one. Vo just always seems to be able to do banners. Like she, even like,
Mhm.
I mean, if you had her for the announcement of her AVAX, her move to AVAX, that absolutely
Yeah.
went insane. Those two would probably be the two that come to mind, to be fair. Just because like they can algo hack to craziness in terms of like if they come out with a banner, it's like non-competable.
And some lore there too is those two. So both of them have been on the Fantasy Top Deck building series, which is tomorrow. That HK and I do together. But they both actually they kind of help each other. They do help each other. They're like in a group chat together. They kind of like bounce off each other. They give each other advice, and they're all super competitive with each other. So they really push each other. And so those two are two you really and Star Platinum as well. And then Bandit. So those four are ones you
Yeah.
want to throw together in the deck in
Yes.
Elite because they'll
Stop Platinum as well with his threads and picks. Him and picks have like the algo just perfectly tied down. And like, I mean, to be yeah, I've been closer to like Pix's work recently. He's master of it. Like them long threads, like like I don't even know how, but like when I'm reading them, it just feels easy compared to like when I read like a lot of threads on the timeline that you just feel like, oh, okay, like this is okay, but like he really does have it mastered. Similar to Star Platinum, right? They got that
Yep.
virality thread down to the T.
Yep, they have that hook. The hook's what gets it every time, and they have the ability like to reach outside of CT, which is what really amplifies your like fantasy top score, or just like your reach in general, right? Because a lot of people kind of are refined or like, yeah, like only can reach inside of CT. There's very few that have that chance to really take off outside of CT, which ICO is one of them, I feel like, as well. As I'm looking
Yeah.
on the Clout leaderboard. Oh, wait, that was yours. I was going to say, I wanted to look at your guys' leaderboard real quick. Because I thought that I had it up, and I was like, wait, ICO's on the top of your leaderboard, but he was on top of the general leaderboard. If I can get it to load here. Because it looks like, yeah, so that's Vert. Yeah, that's the one you were saying, right? Like Verted.
Yeah, Verded is like like I think he's like 15 or 16. He got in super early on Football.Fun and he's been killing the
Oh, he's
content.
like 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah, he's like 15 or 16
Oh,
years
wow.
old.
I thought you
And
meant
like
like, I was like, wow.
no. Yeah, so he's very young, but his content arc has been killing it. It's actually insane when you like see some of these, like obviously Crypto Leon was like one of the first like super young kids on CT that just like blew up. But Verted has like found his niche and he's very like it's not like just like shit posting. It's a lot of like actually he articulates some things very, very well. So yeah, he's been dominating the timeline for that content.
What's crazy is like I actually remember seeing when I was looking up like stuff for Football.Fun. I remember seeing a lot of like so his PFP stood out to me.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if he drew it himself. Like it's just super cool. And I probably feel dumb if it's like a PF if it's an actual collection and people are gonna clown me for it, but like it just looks really sweet. And then like looking at the leaderboard, there's a lot of like big names here, right? Like yeah, you've got like Meg, Otto, Chill Pill, Kayla, Will Mocha. I mean, Tyler D. This is gonna be like so. It's gonna be hard. Like people are gonna have to actually put up good content to get on this leaderboard, which I like.
Yeah, and I mean that's the fun part, right? I think
Yeah.
there's honestly been so much amazing content come out of it, and like I think that's where I come back to the thing of like not going down the info fire route. Is like the content is all made from a position of like they're trying to make unique content around the platform, whether that's video content, people have done threads, tutorials, everything like that. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this like kind of plays in now because like we had a lot over the last week. I'm interested to see like who manages to shine, especially here.
Yep. I'm definitely excited to see it. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, it was cool to see how before the announcement officially came out, the fantasy community was kind of putting the pieces together because they you can see like within Clout, like when a new leaderboard's added, right? It shows up there, and I think it was AI Bruh, or I think it probably was AI Bruh posted it on the timeline. I think it was on the timeline. He's like, "Oh, a new leaderboard showed up," and then people started putting the pieces together, right? Like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what's happening? What's happening?" Which I'm really really excited about the sponsored tournament, which starts Monday. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Are you? So do you? I know you guys are super busy. Do you guys plan on participating in the tournament on the fantasy side?
On my side, yes. I think from the team probably be on me because I think the rest are too slams. So I'm going to
Too
take
busy. Yep.
the nominations from everyone else.
Let's go.
But yeah, I'm going to be participating for sure.
Let's go. Let's go. I'll be rooting for you, but it's just not to do as like to do good, but not better than me.
It's that's always the way, right?
Yep.
It's like, oh, I want you to do well, but just don't beat me. Like I
Yep.
still need to have that edge.
Yep. Oh man, it's so cool. So I before I forget too, as a new player, like not even a new player, like a new European football fan, what are some advice you'd give me? Not just in general, and then also for football.fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking just to like in when you say in general, what do you mean on that
Like
front?
like learning the game. But actually let's
Learning
keep
the
it all to like football.fun actually, because that's what I'm learning it for too.
Learning the game, I mean, for football, the fun. I think one of the biggest mistakes a lot of like new users are making is just like going for the big names, like going
Mhm.
for like the Yamals and Mbappes and stuff like that. But like in order to actually do well with like effectiveness, like Yamal will win a lot. He is the best player in the world. But because his price is so high, like your effectiveness of winning is lower, unless you're playing with a large amount of size. So it's like if my advice would be like don't always just look at that for like the top five for the like to be definite picks. I think it's like try look at the differentials. I think people like Kimmich, he's not a huge name globally, but like in all of our betas, he absolutely smashed the data. Like he is a great player for the our scoring system. So yeah, I'd say like don't always just look at the big names. I think a lot of people come in by the big names. But it's harder to win. Like it's harder to do very, very well if you're just holding the top five on the platform. Um, yeah, that'd probably be my biggest advice. Like look for a bit of the differentials. And there's a lot of people, even like HK and stuff like that. I think anyone who comes in, I'm now just like tagging certain accounts that I know like are doing a lot of like good insights. And if you go to their page, you probably get your first five picks very easily just from like finding one of their posts because yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing a lot more data analytics than I am. I'm like a vibes guy a lot of the time. I'm like, oh, I played with him once. He won. Like, I like
Yeah.
him. He plays with it. My biggest problem is I'm too biased to my team that I support,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're terrible. Like, they're actually terrible right now. So don't do that. Don't get biased to United. But yeah, I'd probably say that. Don't always go for the big boys. Try to find those like slightly like hidden gems.
Perfect. Yeah. And I know I definitely get your your biases because as a Minnesota Vikings fan, anyone that knows American football, we haven't actually won a Super Bowl. We won a NFL championship back in the day. But yeah, we're really bad, even though we're really good sometimes. Like this year we should be really good, but we're gonna pee the bed again like we always do. So yeah, definitely 710 knows it because I used like a super like way earlier pick that I should have to grab a Viking, which I shouldn't have. But yeah,
The
it's
bias of the bias, man. That's why
yeah,
you're a fan for a reason, right? It's like I'm like delusionally optimistic every single year. Never works, but I'll do it and I'll do it again.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm super excited. And yeah, I want to respect your time. We've been on for about an hour. Is there anything you want to cover quick that maybe I didn't bring up?
No, just that I'm excited to see how this all plays out. I think we've got like a really like our communities cross over a lot. People who love strategy, people who love finding the edge. So excited to see how the people perform across both platforms this weekend. And just yeah, if there's any fantasy players that want to try football.fun but aren't like familiar or are not football fans and want to try it out, I'm always a message away. So feel free to DM me. Or actually, you can also DM HK. He's got better alpha than I do, and I'm just going to throw him under the bus of being being the go-to. But I'm also there. I'm also happy to help. So yeah, no, that's it. I'm just excited for more people to come and play, and I'm excited to kind of get stuck into this week's tournament for both platforms. To be honest.
Perfect. Yeah, and we'll like we were kind of talking in the green room. We'll definitely have to run it back again one of these times when HK is available to hop on as well.
I'm ready whenever. You guys just let me know when.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Caleb. We will talk to you soon.
Amazing. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yep. Bye. And stream. There we go.